Can you explain to us that sort of, in terms of one syllable almost, the science behind this? Why does it work?
Why does it work? There are quite a few different kind of pathways why we found that when you have a protein drink before a meal that people's blood sugars don't go as high. As you mentioned, the rate of which food leaves the stomach into the small intestine, that's slowed down, so that's a major mechanism by which blood sugars don't go as high. A lot of key hormones, as you mentioned as well, are stimulated and increased, and in tandem, these kind of pathways work together and make sure people's blood sugars don't go as high.
Diabetes 1 or 2 or both?
So type 2 diabetes.
Type 2, yeah.
So obviously type 1 and type 2 diabetes are two completely different metabolic conditions. So the research we've looked at is within people with type 2 diabetes.
And protein drinks like this, are these the ones that are readily available? You hear people who are building muscles and going to gyms drink.
Yeah, so traditionally whey protein is the kind of protein source that we used. Traditionally, you kind of think whey protein would be associated with the kind of the gym situation and the muscle building, but there's a lot of kind of bioactive goodies inside whey protein that we and a few other groups across the globe have shown to have quite beneficial metabolic effects, not only for diabetes, but for older populations, for other populations as well.
Feel full, don't they? So, I mean, is the true secret the fact that you probably eat less?
No. So our study and other studies have shown that protein itself it makes you feel fuller compared to carbohydrates and fat. But when we've actually monitored food intake when they've had a whey protein drink compared to when they've not, overall food intake's the exact same. So the benefits in blood sugars that we found are not due directly to a reduction in food intake. So it's to do with these kind of mechanisms that I talked about earlier.
And does there need to be more research on this, or are you pushing that out as advice that our viewers can and listeners can follow now?
No, we need to do more research. The study that was published this morning, it was only over a 7-day period. Although the results that we found were really, really promising and novel and have not been shown before, we need to see how does this. Are there any kind of long-lasting effects? What happens over 3, 4 months, 6 months? And what kind of beneficial effects on blood sugar, how do they translate to the kind of cardiovascular issues that people with diabetes are at risk of? So they're the kind of key questions when treating diabetes, whether it's a pharmaceutical intervention or whether it's a dietary and lifestyle. Can we improve metabolic control, but also can we improve the kind of vascular complications that go kind of hand in hand with diabetes as well?
Just one more question then. I was asking you whether it would make you eat less. Contrary to that, would it actually mean that you might put on weight since you're having both a protein drink and a meal?
Yeah, very good question. Our research, we try and use the smallest dose possible to try and basically counteract any kind of adverse effects on weight management. We know people with type 2 diabetes, a large majority of them are carrying more weight than we prefer them to have, and they're storing fat around kind of key organs, which we wish wasn't there. So a big thing going forward, and that's what we will do in longer term kind of trials, is look at the smallest dose of whey or any other kind of dietary protein possible that obviously has the lowest amount of energy associated with it.